Hi everyone, it's William. I have a little time today, so I decided to do another 1907 diary entry, kind of pushing forward as we're nearing the end of these. So this is the 13th October, 1907, and this time Dmitri is writing not from Moscow, but from Ilyinskoye. It's a Saturday, and this is the weekend trip they had planned out to the country estate with Maria's fiance, Wilhelm. So what happened the day before? Well, really nothing. It was just a very typical day for Dmitri, except for the fact that he had a horrible headache for the second day, I believe, in a row. Just really a bad one. And aside from that, he told us that his brother-in-law, that he and Maria had gone off to the theater, leaving their leaving Wilhelm behind. I should say Maria's fiance, Dmitri's future brother-in-law, leaving him behind in the company, the boring company, as Dmitri tells us, of Ella. But now we have something that is including Wilhelm and is not inappropriate given his state of mourning, which is this private trip to Ilyinskoye. They won't be out in public. And it requires a little bit of explanation at the beginning, because Dmitri uses two names, Kingrust and Milovidia, that are apparently places, and I decided not to translate them. Since they are place names, I decided not to translate them, but I will fill you in on those when we're finished with the diary entry itself. So here we go. 13 October 1907, Ilyinskoye, Saturday. I'm writing in Kingrust. We are all quartered here at the quite stupid command of Tyotia, when we could have been excellently quartered in Milovidia, for example. I got up at 7:30 today. I slept very well. My headache is almost completely gone. From 9 to 11 I had lessons, and then I went with Mr. Cook to Ilyinskoye, where I killed 6 crows and 1 jackdaw. I had lessons from 2 to 5, and then we went to the station via Pavshino. From there we had to drive in complete darkness. I hope the weather will be good tomorrow, because when we arrived here it was drizzling. Before dinner we went to the lazarette for a minute and then took a walk. Dinner was at 8 o'clock, after which we sat upstairs in the great room and played cards, 10:30. So it's not clear if Aunt Ella is there. I rather suspect that she's not. And I think they stopped by the lazarette just because that was good form, not because Aunt Ella demanded it. So if you recall, there were soldiers stationed there, veterans of the Russo-Japanese War, who were injured in some way in the war and needed to go through a process of physical recovery, and these were people who were seriously injured and needed to find a way to earn a livelihood in the future, if maybe they were amputees or something. So they were being taught handicrafts like weaving at Ilyinskoye. So we learned all about that in previous diary entries for 1906. And so whether Ella is with them or not, they stop by to greet these men, these soldiers. And our friend Crowkiller is back, unfortunately, even before they leave for Ilyinskoye. Dmitri is out with his shotgun, and he kills 6 crows and 1 jackdaw. I do not approve, as you all already know. Okay, so Pavshino was and is a station a railroad station somewhere in the vicinity of Moscow. I looked it up, but I didn't spend a lot of time trying to locate it exactly. I'm not sure what Dmitri means when he says they went to the station via Pavshino, or the Russian word через, through Pavshino. But anyway, from Pavshino, or from I don't know if they started out at Pavshino, if they passed through it, or if that was where you stopped if you were going to Ilyinskoye, if that was the end of the line. But at any rate, they had to make the final drive to the estate in complete darkness, Dmitri tells us. And basically they still have time, to go to the lazaret, to take a walk, and then dinner is served. They play cards, and then they each go to their separate sleeping quarters. So this idea of sleeping quarters raises the question of, what are these places? We are all quartered. I used the word quartered, and I could have used the word placed. We are all placed, or we are all located or housed, but anyway, you get the picture. They are occupying one part of what? Was it a house on the grounds? Was it a part of the actual manor? It seems like it must have been the manor, because they go upstairs and play cards, although I guess if they were cottages on the estate, they could also have an upstairs. But would they have the great room? Dmitri refers to going upstairs to the great room, so that sounds like the manor. So maybe they were apartments in the manor. So kin grust means to throw, or to throw off sadness. So it is a famous place in Kiev, or Kyiv in Ukraine, and it is a place where, if I understand correctly, Catherine the Great had a picnic with her lover, her favorite lover at that time, Grigory Potyomkin, and she went for a walk, and Potyomkin, not unlike Dmitri himself, in this section of the diaries, just didn't feel well. He had a headache, and he didn't feel well, but Catherine wanted to go on a walk, so they went on a walk, and they were surrounded by just gorgeous, beautiful nature. And there was a lake, or some ponds or something, and on the banks you had weeping willows growing. And Catherine was so overwhelmed by the beauty of it all that she tried to cheer or get Potyomkin into the same mood by saying something like, "Look, Grigory, kin grust," so I guess throw off your sadness or your bad mood. So if you look up kin grust, as I did, you will find that all the associations that you have online are with the famous location in Ukraine, in Kiev, or in the vicinity of Kiev. And apparently someone in the imperial family had been there and admired it, and so gave the same name to this section of rooms. Maybe it had a really good view of the Moscow River. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I guess I shouldn't waste time talking about that when I don't have anything to say about it. But Dmitri would have preferred to have been quartered in Milovidia, for example. And Milovidia just means nice view. So, if any of you have any insight into any of this, whether linguistically or historically, knowing things about the Ilyinskoye estate and the manor house, then do please let me know. And I thought it would be fun today to look up and see what was going on in the world in October 1907. And the one really interesting thing I found was that Marconi had established the first transatlantic wireless system going between Nova Scotia and Ireland. So experimental, I guess, but it succeeded. So transatlantic communication would end up being very important to Dmitri at the end of his life. But if he, he had no idea about that when he was 16 years old. And if it was an important event that was in the news and that he was interested in, he doesn't mention it in his diaries as some kind of a breakthrough. But anyway, yeah, I thought it'd be fun to add a little context. And yeah, so they're going to spend the Sunday at Ilyinskoye and go home on Monday morning. So tomorrow we'll have the big day with the hunting at Ilyinskoye. Hopefully good weather, as Dmitri says, but at least his headache is gone. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.